Hello friends and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another tutorial with the Gouache Sunset Mini Painting Kit. You can find this on our Etsy store, linked in the description. Grab your paintbrushes, let's get started. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be using the Sunset Mini Painting Kit, which you can find in my Etsy store, Lavender Chai. It'll be linked in the description. It's $5. Free shipping throughout the US, so definitely pick it up. And I think shipping is under $2 for everywhere else in the world, so yeah. In the kit, you will get your taped watercolor card that looks like a cute little instant photo, a sheet of instructions, and your gouache palette or watercolor palette, depending on what kit you get. The Sunset kit comes with a gouache palette. So here I'm just taping it down to this white plate, which I'm using as a palette. You don't have to use one, but it's definitely helpful. So here I have 4 brushes. I have a size 0 round, a size 2 round, 5/0 spotter, and 3/8 of an inch angled shader. You definitely do not need 4 brushes for this. 1 will do just fine. So I'm just untaping the card here, getting ready to stick it down to my work surface. Definitely be careful with this part. You don't want to rip the paper. If you do, that's okay. So just take that off. Be patient. It might take a while. Stick it down to your work surface. Here I'm just using a wooden board. Next, grab some water. You're going to want that. Really, the only 2 things you'll need are a paintbrush and some water to go with this kit. So everything else is kind of optional. So we're going to start by doing a wet wash. The background with the sunset colors is a wet on wet wash, which is just laying down a solid background of color. So I'm going to start with the orchid, which is this gorgeous deep purpley magenta color. And we're going to start at the top because the brightest part with the yellow is the sun at the bottom. And so I'm going to speed this up a little bit for you here. Alright, so here we're just adding some of the scarlet red right under the orchid. We're going to blend that together. Now this will all still be on your wet background, so it should blend together really nicely without too much effort. So you're going to lay that down, and then after you've got that down, we're going to add the golden yellow to finish it off at the bottom of this little square. So blend that in. And I'm just going to do a couple little touch-ups, add a little bit more of the orchid, and finish off the background. Alright, so here I am adding in some clouds. I've taken my angled shader and I'm drying it off on a paper towel I've got off to the side, and I'm just using that to absorb a little bit of the paint while it's still wet, and you get these nice subtle white spots that really look like clouds in the background, and that ends up being really pretty, and it gives some dimension to the sky instead of it just being a solid wash, which I think looks really cool once the painting is done. And you don't notice it a ton, but it definitely adds to it. Here, I've just got a little bit of touching up to do. So that dried, and now we're going to take the black paint, and feel free to add a little bit of any color into the black, just to make it a little warmer, to get it to the right color, because not all black paint is created equal. So now I'm here just painting the horizon line, and it's just pretty flat. This will be the ground. My plan for this is that there will be 2 little people standing together, and they'll be surrounded by a bunch of trees. So I'm just going to fill this in with the black gouache. Alright, so you're going to want to let this dry for a bit, and then we're going to go back in and do a second layer of the black gouache, just so it's really, really opaque and it won't distract as much from the rest of the painting. Gouache is already pretty opaque, so you'll only need 2 layers if you can get it down thick enough. So now we're going to start on the pine trees, and I'm going to draw 3 of them, or paint 3 of them. So I'm drawing 2 trunks on the right side and 1 on the left side. So now I'm taking the really tiny spotter. It's so small, but this brush is so useful. And I'm going to paint, not drawing, I'm painting, the 2 little people just being together at sunset. Not perfect, just little silhouettes. You can tell they're people. That's all that matters. So they're pretty much in the center of the hill. And then we're going to start on the pine trees. So, starting on this rightmost one. And this one, I changed the style of pine tree after this, but this is just simple brush strokes outward from the trunk of the tree. Give it shape. Now here, I'm doing a little bit of a hold the brush loosely and just kind of do some side-to-side movements around, as if you're kind of going around the trunk, and that'll give you a really nice looking pine tree. So here I'm doing the big one around these people, and I'm just going to do some touch-ups, fill in some of the black spots. I'm going to touch up the little tiny tree too. And throughout this, really, it doesn't matter what brush you're using. Just depends on what you're going for, what you're painting, what you feel comfortable using. Because if you feel comfortable using a really big brush to paint small details, then go for it. So, that's it. Now we're going to peel the tape. This is my favorite part. So this is our painting. Turned out really, really cute. I hope you guys liked this tutorial and I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. You can check out this painting kit on my Etsy store, etsy.com/shop/lavenderchai. Link in the description. Definitely grab it. It's a great way to start painting if you have never painted before, and it's just a ton of fun. Makes a great gift. Yeah. You can really paint anything with this kit. Here's a couple more paintings I did. That one's my cat in a field of wheat. But yeah, it's really versatile. You can just have fun with it. Paint whatever. If you liked the sunset kit, you might also like the mountains watercolor kit, which you can also find in our Etsy shop. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye!